Fall Anime Season 2022 has finally arrived, and we have a lot of animes that we need to talk about. There are new romances, new isekais, and even a new hidden gem that you probably didn't watch. And let's start by talking about the most hyped anime of this season, Chainsaw Man. And right from the start, let's answer the most important question. Does it live up to the expectations? It obviously depends on your expectations. But yeah, I would say so, because the anime is surely great. The story is about a guy named Denji, and the fastest way that I can explain him to you is saying that he is poor. He needs to pay a debt that was left behind by his parents, and the debt is basically huge. Denji even needed to sold his right eye, but that's not the most important. He even sold his left nut. Or was right? Well, it doesn't matter. In order to pay his debt, he decided to start working as a devil hunter. As name says, his job is to hunt devils, and in order to do that, he used a little friend that is also a devil. Without expecting, Denji was betrayed, and was killed mercilessly. Fortunately, his chainsaw friend decided to save his life. Chainsaw Bro basically became the heart of Denji, and now they are one. Denji now is half human and half devil. From this point forward, a girl from the official Devil Hunter organization came up and told him, "Yo Denji, work for me." And he said, "Yeah, sure." Now, there are a lot of things that I love this anime. First and foremost, the power introduction. Like, come on, it was awesome. And by the way, talking about the opening, that I know that you didn't watch, there are a lot of movie references in the opening, which I found to be awesome. As you can see, there are a lot of great things about Chainsaw Man, but if there is one thing that needs to be addressed, it is the CGI. Now, until the point of recording this video, the CGI is alright, it's good, it's perfect, even though it is quite worrisome if they keep using it too much. Until now it is fine, and the anime is hella promising, so make sure to give it a watch. And another one that I think that you should give a watch is Blue Lock. This anime is about football, and if you are like me, you also don't like sports anime. It's not that I hate them, it's just that I don't find them particularly fun to watch, I just prefer to watch other stuff. But as a friend of mine told me when I was wondering if I should watch his anime or not, Blue Lock is not about sports, it is about the experience. And now that I started watching the anime, I do really understand. Because this anime is basically a battle royale disguised as a sports show. Our protagonist wants to be one of the best football players in the world. One day he was invited by an organization that told him that he could do the best if he did training that organization offered. He went there, and there were also a lot of other football players. It so happens that this organization that invited all these players want to make Japan the best football team in the world, and for that they are creating the plan Blue Lock. They want to make the best attacker in the world. And just one can be the best. So this is basically a battle royale. As people fail, they will be eliminated. And once they are eliminated, they will be banned from joining the official Japanese team of football. And for people that all they care about is football and being the best, it is kind of a big deal. Now, one thing that I love about Blue Lock is that this anime is great at creating tension. You are always wondering what will happen next. And it in general is just fun to watch. And now, for the first isekai of this video, we have Reincarnated as a Sword. Now, as you can see, it is quite an exquisite concept. And the story is basically about a guy that was reincarnated as a sword. Who would guess, right? After arriving, he obviously killed a ton of monsters and became an overpowered protagonist. After all, this is an isekai. The next thing to tick on the list after becoming overpowered is getting an harem of girls. So I was wondering, will this guy have an harem of swords, axes, spears? It would be fun, but it doesn't seem like it. Because a little cat girl named Friend appeared, and our protagonist saved her from bad people. Generic? Yeah. Fun? Yeah. Friend is adorable. But now, let's be honest, this is basically a generic isekai, with the catch that the main character is a sword. If you know what to expect, and if you want to watch it, then by all means go ahead, it is a good show. And after an isekai, we will obviously talk about a romance comedy show. More precisely about more than a married couple, but not lovers. The name is quite interesting, and you will soon understand why. But first I have a very important thing to tell you. This anime was made by your mom. And I'm gonna be honest, your mom is great at doing animes, because the anime is surprisingly high quality. The animation is pretty good for a rom-com, and it is also stunning. As a good romance protagonist, he has a crush on a girl. The thing is that in his school there is kind of a test, where he needs to live like a married couple with a random girl, and the girl that he ended up living with was not the girl that he loved. She was in fact a gyaru, a very popular girl, and the complete opposite of our main character that is basically a gamer, and also introverted of course. If by any means you think that this protagonist and this gyaru girl, while living together, will develop feelings for each other, well, you would be hella right, it is what will happen. One thing that I need to note is that the author of this story basically created the perfect solution for Japan's declining birth rates. So, if you are an important person from Japan, well, you should probably watch this anime, because the solution might as well work. And another show that catch my interest was the Eminence in Shadow. After watching the trailer and reading the synopsis, I was expecting an overpowered protagonist, and instead of that, when I was watching the first episode, the show just started the story by showing a schoolgirl. I wasn't understanding anything. After a few more minutes we discovered that this girl is the daughter of a rich family, and after leaving school she was kidnapped. And at the very same time that they were about to do some really bad things to her, our main character appeared. He saved the girl from the bandits, and there we can see that our main character is actually quite powerful. One monologue later we discover that he wanted to be the strongest person in the world. Not really, he wanted to be stronger than the strongest person in the world. He explained that, well, he could beat a person on a one-on-one, even if that person had a weapon, he could just dodge the bullets, and then knock down the person. But just imagine, what if a nuclear bomb dropped on his head? Then he wouldn't be able to do anything. And he didn't like that at all. He wanted to be invincible. With this in mind, he had a great idea to start running and jump in front of a truck. Truck obviously did his job, and now he was reincarnated into a new fantasy world. Now, one thing that I must say is that this anime is a little bit edgy.
Shadow. 影に潜み、影を狩る者。
Shadow.
I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. The main character of this story is a girl that loved to play video games. One day, however, she was transported into an otome game. She already knew how the story of that otome game would work, so she knew that if she didn't do anything, she would die. At the main arc of the story, the Demon Lord would awaken his powers and transform into a giant dragon, and then she would die, because after all she was the villainess of that story. Since she obviously didn't want to die, she brainstormed a little and thought, well, what is the best way to not die to the Demon Lord? I will just date the Demon Lord. And that's basically her plan. She went ahead and started talking to the Demon Lord, so that he could fall in love with her. Now, I have to say that this anime had a splendid start, and I really wasn't expecting an anime so good as this one. Even though it is not as surprising as the hidden gem that we will talk about later, this one is also incredibly fun to watch. And one of the things that you will probably enjoy is the great dynamic between the main couple. But now, we cannot always talk about isekais. So instead, let's talk about another romance, The Raven of the Inner Palace. At first, I didn't expect much from this one, but it also surprised me. In this story, our protagonist is the Raven consort of the Inner Palace, and despite her name, she doesn't do night duties. For your information, she's actually a very important person. She has almost the same power as the Emperor. And talking about him, one day the Emperor decided to visit her, and that's basically when the story starts. Although this story is not entirely focused on the romance between the two, because after all this anime is a supernatural one, they indeed have a very interesting dynamic that is really fun to watch. Furthermore, this show also has a pretty good soundtrack, and it is a good change of pace from your normal animes. And before going to the last anime of this list, we will talk about another anime that is also good, and it is called The Beast Tamer. And hear me, my friend, this is the start of a new trend. The vanish from the Hero's Party trend at that. In this story, Rain was a part of the Hero's Party. He was a beast tamer, so he couldn't really fight head-on against monsters. Taking that into consideration, the other members of the party decided to ban him, and now he's basically alone to start a new adventure all by himself. At least until the middle of the first episode, that is. The truth is that Rain is not useless at all. To tell you the truth, he's actually overpowered, but he's unaware of how overpowered he is. One day when he was walking through the forest, he heard a girl screaming, and our main character obviously went ahead and helped her. The thing is that our main character couldn't really kill the monster that was attacking her. And the other thing is that the girl didn't really need help. She was actually a cat girl, and cat girls on this world are one of the ultimate species. They are basically overpowered as hell. The girl then killed the monster alongside Ren, and the conversation that they had after was something along the lines of, "Oh, thank you very much, I didn't really need your help, but thank you." Well, no problem, no, I'm actually this tamer. Really? I'm a beast, can you tame me? Well, I think so. Ta-da! Now, our main character is a tamer of a cat girl, one of the most overpowered species in this world. And if this enemy is one of those, and I really believe it is, Rain now will probably tame another girls, and well, build an harem. What the fuck did I just watch? These already settled the tone to what to expect. And by the way, the author of the story was very faithful to the title, because since first second of the first episode, everyone is always dressed as a maid. This show follows life of a girl that always loved maids, and so she went ahead and joined a maid cafe, only to discover that there are a lot of things that happen in maid cafes. Apart from obviously being a maid cafe, the girls there also gamble, box, murder, and a lot of other stuff. I mean, this anime is just crazy. If you didn't watch this one yet, I really think it deserves a chance. And honestly, if there is other thing that deserves a chance, is this video right here. It is a great one that I made, and I'm pretty sure that you will love it.